If you haven't given your life to Christ and God, it's time. I mean, he changed my life and he'll change yours, and God gave me this platform. He wanted me on this interview for a reason. It's to let y'all know.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Got a good one for you here today. Travis Adams out of Sterlington High School, going to play college baseball at ULM up there in Monroe, Louisiana. Ever since I saw him on that viral interview after winning the state championship game with Sterlington, I tell you, I knew we had to get him on here. And so I've been hunting him down for a little while, finally got in touch with him, and he said he would love to come on. This interview right here, man, is so action-packed and powerful. It's got so many great nuggets, especially if you are an athlete, a high school athlete, even before high school. There's a lot of stuff that he says in here that you can really pick up and put into what you're doing, and it can help you go a long way, both spiritually and also in your sport or whatever you're playing. So parents is also a good one for you, because this is the product of a strong Christian household. This is a product of parents who poured into their kids and supported their kid and really instilled Christian values early on, and he talks a lot about that. So with all that being said, I want you guys to check it out. Let me know what you think. Travis Adams. I don't know if any of you guys have been paying attention to Louisiana high school baseball, but I'm sure if you have, you've heard of Sterlington up there in the Monroe area, correct? That's where you guys are at. So we got Travis Adams, who played on the state championship team for Sterlington, and he is actually going to play his college baseball at ULM coming up pretty shortly. He'll probably be reporting to campus pretty soon. And so Travis, without all that, without saying all that, just welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining.
Glad to be here.
And we'll jump right into it. Yeah. Awesome, bro. We'll jump right into it. So can you just share with us, just how you came to know Christ, what the background is of your faith?
Yeah. So grew up in a really Christian household. My parents did a really good job growing up of just reminding me of the Christian values and doing what's right. And, as time started going on, started getting a little older, starting to get in about middle school, people started making different decisions than me. And I started to take notice. And, at first when everybody's making that kind of transition into worldly things, after everybody's being innocent, it's kind of hard to stay the path, because everybody's doing one thing and, you're doing the other. But I kind of took the Christian route early, and people didn't like that. So I lost a lot of friends in middle school, and it was just a big transition, but I stayed strong in my belief at that time. And you start to develop a little reputation, when you're younger in that stage of life, and people start not asking you for advice because it's not things that they want to hear. They want to hear you know, what most people are doing, and so it can get kind of lonely at times. So I kind of went through middle school as like a solo thing. I'd get a friend every now and then I'd start like rubbing off on them, and then they kind of drift away and stuff like that. But then we transitioned into high school, and kind of the same deal, but people started getting kind of cooler with it. And that's when kind of social media took a presence on Christianity. That's when it started kind of blowing up there. And people are saying it's kind of a cooler thing now to be Christian. And, um, like these worldly decisions they're making, especially in high school, opposed to middle school, it's not the best thing ever. So people started taking notice, I went to FCA in high school, and I'd say it grew 100% from my freshman to senior year, just because it started to be the in thing to be, a Christian and make good decisions as God would want us to do. And as a leader on a football and a baseball team in high school, some people take you seriously and some people don't, because if you mess up one time as a Christian, then you're like, well, I thought you were a Christian. You're supposed to do this and that. So why should I if you're messing up? And you just got to constantly remind people of how um, it's perfect. And so that was me growing up. I had this reputation of a guy who thinks he's perfect just because he's a Christian, and that gets lonely sometimes. Anxiety kind of builds up, but you just got to be constantly reminded of why you're here and why no one's perfect except for Jesus, and that's why He died on the cross for our sins. And so now we go into college, and I've already seen the people that I'm, be able to be around. And ULM's got a lot of good guys. That's a big reason I also wanted to go there because they have a good FCA there. They have a lot of people based around Christ there, so I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, that's good. So two things that you said in there. The first thing is, you know, your faith is really really strong, and it's really easy to walk out until it starts costing you something, right? And then you really find out how deep your faith is. And so that's a big thing that I think a lot of people really need to hear. And you said it so well that you started living this Christian walk out in middle school. It started costing you some friendships, right? And that hurts. But you keep praying for those people, and eventually they come back around. I'm kind of going through that right now. And then just the other thing, just what you're doing and how you're walking it out, and you're starting to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, right? It makes it a lot easier. But the popularity thing, man, the whole thing blowing up with Jesus won and all that stuff, that's so cool, man. And to be at the forefront of that, and it's just awesome. Was there anything that happened to you? I mean, you said your parents, they raised you in a good Christian home. Can you look back on maybe one time that where your faith was really tested?
Yeah, for sure. There was a solid year in my life where a lot of people passed in my family, and it kind of made me start thinking, why me? I was in that why me mindset for about a year. Like, even the most minor inconveniences in that one span of a year, I was like, why me, God? Why me? I mean, I'm the one worshiping you, and these people are being worldly, so why me? And I actually, got into it, started looking at my Bible, and I was trying to answer that question, why me, why me? And it just brought me to Job, and I resonate with that story really well, and that kind of helped me through those dark times of, loss and grief and stuff. And I started to realize, why not me? I would much rather it be me than other people. And when I started getting that kind of mindset, and I was like, these obstacles are for me, just because other people might not be able to handle them, or it's for His purpose. That kind of helped me thrive in that mindset.
Yeah, that's good, man. Good answer. Well, so how does that transition into your athletic abilities, your athletic career? What are some things that you can talk about that your faith has made a big difference, whether it be in football or in baseball?
Yeah, I'd say that's my strongest tool. That's my biggest advantage because, I mean, especially this year, my senior year, I used it more than anything. My physical science teacher and the basketball coach, he told us one thing in class, and I'll never forget it. He said, "What's going to matter a billion years from now?" And that's been my main testimony. Like, if I go talk somewhere, that's what I say, is what's going to matter a billion years from now. Because baseball, nada. Football, no. It's going to be, what decisions did you make? Who did you bring to heaven, and did you get to heaven? That's all that's gonna matter, I mean, and I tell myself that before every game. I say a prayer before every game, like, this isn't gonna matter. We just play ball. We play it through His grace and through Him, and that's all we can do. And there was an interview in the state championship game. I don't pitch, like, I'm not a pitcher, but I got on the mound just because I throw strikes, I guess. And they're like, "Were you nervous going up there pitching? You hadn't thrown innings all year." And I was like, "No." And they're like, "What do you mean, no?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, it matters. The state championship's cool and all, but at the end of the day, I mean, a billion years from now, it's not going to matter. So I kind of had that mentality. Obviously, you want to succeed, but um, yeah, that was probably my main advantage in sports.
Yeah, so that's such a good answer. The baseball is what you do; it's not who you are. That sounds like the approach that you take. And so, man, a billion years from now, what's going to matter? That's big. What was your teacher's name? That said.
Paul Glenn Paul Glenn. Yeah, Coach Glenn. We call him Coach Glenn. Wise man, wise man. Yeah, so the first time I ever kind of shared a testimony and what I needed to say about Jesus was and we have some groups on Thursdays that we from kids from different schools. It's a boys only thing, high school boys only thing. There's no adults allowed. It's just us. That way we can be open and vulnerable. I did that my sophomore and junior year. We had that going, and it was really good. That's when I first talked about it. That was the first time I ever talked about the billion years thing, and that made me build confidence to be able to speak in front of a lot of people. And so then I started speaking at our FCAs at school, and then I started to go to the middle school and talk there. And on retreats this summer, I'll be able to spread my testimony there. Haven't done that yet, but I'll be in later in summer. So just being able to talk to that small group of guys first, and then branching out a little bit more, it builds your confidence a lot.
So you guys at Sterlington, you guys have a pretty successful athletic program. Are you part of state championship football team too?
2-time.
You guys won. So you won 2-time state champs, and then you won. So you won state in football this year, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then come back and get it in baseball. So baseball was a little bit of a redemption story for you guys. I watched a couple interviews and how there was some teams before you that got the job done, and you guys are kind of struggling to get there and finally put the cap on it this year. So talk a little bit about that run and what it was like to be on a state championship team.
Yeah, absolutely. The years prior to this year were a bunch of shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like we should have won last year. If we made different decisions in that state championship game last year to South Beauregard, and the year before, if we would have done this, we would have beat Berwick and all that. So, at the end of the day, this year we put our head down and say, let's just get the job done. We were so sick and tired of not winning a state championship, because that's what we do at Sterlington. No senior has ever gone all 4 years without winning a ring in the past like 8, 9, 10 years. And so we did not want to be the first senior class to not do that. So we said, all right, let's get this done. And so we pushed harder than we ever have this year. I mean, it was good senior leadership. All the guys, every single senior on that team, whether they played or not, I mean, it was just a good overall morale throughout the season. We stayed level-headed. We just kept our head down and kept working.
Is there something that you guys did, and this is kind of going off the cusp a little bit, but each championship team, I think about, LSU in 19 when they won a national championship with Joe Burrow. That championship run started way before the lights came on, and it started in the summer when they were doing these workouts and they became a unit. Is there anything that you can think of that may have happened before the season started or maybe during the season that really helped you guys come together? Is there a moment that you can think of that helped that process?
Yeah, I'd say probably the 5 minutes after last year's state championship game. We came in when, we took the picture with the silver trophy, and then we went and saw our families. I mean, there wasn't a smile out there. I mean, we don't like silver trophies. That's not what we are. And it was just a bad taste in our mouth, and we just hated this. And we all looked at each other, walking out of Sulphur, and we were like, this isn't happening again. We can't bear this again, and then throughout the summer, even in football, in the fall, we were just ready for baseball. And, we love football, but all the baseball guys, we were just itching, ready to get back at it. And we knew we had a good team. We knew we had a good shot at it. We had a lot of talent coming back. We only had 2 stars leave. And so it was just, from the whole start of the year, the school year, we just knew we were dead set on it.
Yeah, that's good. That's and plus you got that pressure a little bit that pushes you to not be the one team that didn't finish with a state championship ring. I bet that was a little bit of fuel. So you guys win the state championship in baseball. You get the gold trophy, not the silver trophy. Which every time I see those pictures of the team with the silver trophy, man, and my heart just breaks for those guys because you get right there, right?
That's
rough. But then this interview comes up, man, and you kind of turned into a viral sensation. Do this interview. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and what kind of led up to that, and what made you just really drive home that people need Jesus?
Yeah, so on the way to Sulphur, really throughout the whole year, I kind of manifested it in my head. I'd think about it, at night, saying, if I get a platform, I'm going to use it. That's the main reason I like baseball so much, and that I want to succeed in baseball is so I can use my platform to spread the gospel. And I was like, so spread the word. If you get a chance, spread the word. And so on the way on the bus ride to Sulphur, I was thinking to myself, what am I going to say? How am I going to squeeze in all the interviews if win or lose? I was going to do it win or lose. And so the moment came, and I just happened to be the guy to throw the last strike, and so it was easy for the cameras to come up. And some interviews I was able to squeeze it in, and then others I said, "Hey, can I say one more thing?" And it was just in the back of my mind. I was like, "Make sure we address this. Make sure we address this." And my ultimate goal with it was to get at least one person. To get at least one person to let me know, "Hey, this interview impacted me, and this made me closer to God, or one more step to heaven." And it was crazy because out of all those a million plus views, people reached out, and it was more than one. Like, I had DMs on Facebook. Like, I don't get DMs on Facebook unless it's from my dad sending me a hitting video. And yeah, and so I didn't know if it was stranger danger or what. And then I started reading them, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, these people are giving me their testimonies and what they've been through. And we had good conversations, and I was like, wow, I mean, this actually um is awesome. I did my job. I wanted at least one person. I got more than one person, and so I think I accomplished what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So how does that feel when so many people resonate with, that interview and what you said, and they start reaching out? What goes through your mind? What goes through your heart when you start thinking about that?
Yeah, it just sits really well. And I think society as a whole is starting to go in a good direction. I mean, I know with recent politics and things around the world, everybody thinks we're on a downward spiral, but I disagree. You look around and you see LSU baseball, for example. You see Derek Curiel. I mean, what he's doing. I mean, it's like right now it's the cool thing to be Christian. I feel like it's like that's going on the up, and that's what I like to see. And who knows? Maybe a kid saw my interview, and next time they win a state championship, he might do something like that. And maybe we can keep going on that upward track, and that's what I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I've been dealing with the youth for a while. I've coached youth baseball for about 25 years, and just here recently, man, I've really been trying to do my best to get in front of the youth and talk to them about Jesus and about what He did for us, and how He's the Savior of the world, and that we need to put our trust in Him. But just trying to get that into them, and it's coming from a 44-year-old man. When it comes from a young guy like you who's hoisting up the trophy, who's going to play college baseball, all those kids that see that, they grasp that. And I've been really believing, I think God's put this in my heart, that the youth of America today, which includes you still, is going to point the hearts of the world towards Jesus. And I think that interview is I think that's just the beginning too, man. Because I think your platform is about to explode. I really do. So leading up to that interview, you said that, you were prepared for it. It was something that you expected. You kind of spoke it into existence, if you will. Were there any times where before you went to go say it where you got nervous and you didn't want to, you had to push through that? Or was any of that there?
Yeah, I was ready to do it. I was thinking, a billion years from now, the only thing that's going to matter is that interview. If we won or lost, it's not going to matter. Um, yeah, so I had a lot of confidence going into it, and people ask me, with that and just the game in general, big state championship game, a lot of people there, were you nervous? And I was like, you're not going to believe me, but I wasn't, and people still don't believe me, but I really wasn't.
That's the peace that goes beyond understanding, right? That's where that comes from, man. When you got Jesus in your heart, it's you got that peace. So tell me about this. As a baseball player that's going to play collegiately, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you do every day to hone your baseball skills. Probably in a weight room, probably in a batting cage, on the field. And plus, there's a lot of mental side of it that you got to prepare yourself for. There's probably a lot of film that you're watching, probably a lot of things that you're doing, right? And so I always like to relate sports to our walk in Christ. And so what are some of the things that you do spiritually that help you be the Christian that you are today?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Sports are a lot like Christianity. If you apply the same things, it's going to work out well for you. And the main thing I think of is stay consistent. Don't miss a day. And because when you miss a single day, it creates bad habits, and then you miss 2 days and 3 days. And so, I wake up, I work out every day. I hit every day. I throw. Oh, I'll rest when I throw. You don't throw every day, but I walk with God every day. And that's daily, every hour, every minute. I'm just it's a constant filter through your mind. Stay consistent, thinking what He's thinking, and that's going to help you pan out with Jesus, and that's going to help you pan out with your sport. If you're not consistent in your sport, you're not going to be good. It's just simple as that. Consistency beats talent every single time.
Yeah, that's a good answer, and that's exactly what it takes. It's consistency and just staying in the Word and doing things. Are there any specific things that you do? And you talked about doing FCA and things like that. Can you kind of dive into that and tell us exactly what's going on? Are there something that you're looking forward to when you get to ULM to where you can join something and be able to use your platform to spread the gospel? Is there something specific that you can do?
Yeah, the FCA program at ULM is really good. Not just baseball guys, there's football guys. I mean, every sport there. And I just see on their social media, they do a lot of good things there, and I have friends that are already in it. And that's definitely the group I'm going to try to get into when I get there. And I think I can help them, using my platform to spread the word as much as I can. And like I said earlier, even the guys that don't go to UCA or FCA, ULM, it's just all around you. Like, you have a good opportunity to find the right people to be around, whether it's on the baseball team or not. Even though a lot of the guys that I really enjoyed being around left ULM, like Brennan Eager, he's going to go to Cincinnati. I grew up with him, grew up playing against him my whole life, and he's a really good guy to be around. He walks with Christ every second of his life, and he's a really good dude to be around. But ULM brings those guys in. They're good at seeing guys like that, and that's what I really liked about the place.
That's good. Have you seen what you're doing, your faith just influence maybe a teammate, and you can maybe somebody that you discipled? Has your faith in living it out, has it kind of brought somebody in close to you that you can think about where you kind of help disciple them and bring them to Christ?
Subtly, it's not just obvious, but another thing I say in the Christian walk is you got to look for it. You can't just expect it. You got to be looking for it. Look for signs of Jesus everywhere, and you'll start to see it. But on the baseball team, I wasn't a vocal guy. I'm a lead by example type of leader, and as the season progresses, I start to see things that certain players did before, like the season started, and in the early stages, where now we transition and getting a little more mature and a little better decision making. And I'm like, that might have been because of a decision I made in front of them one day, or something. And so that's the kind of the way I notice, my impact on a team is when those slight little things just start changing in other people because they saw something that I might have done.
Yeah. When when you're thinking about baseball and you're at the level where you're going to play college ball, there's going to be some kids looking up to you. What can you tell them that they need to do baseball wise to get to where you're at? Like, what's it take?
Yeah, it takes thinking about the game in a different way. You got to learn how to use your body, and you got to learn how to use your mind. If you don't have an approach going into the box, you're out. Unless you are just talented and see ball, hit ball, but that's not going to last for your whole life. You got to start thinking about things that other people don't think about in high school. Hitting in high school becomes really easy once you start to figure out tendencies, and once you start to figure out certain techniques and things that people do out. Like, you always want to surround yourself with people that are better than you. That way you can pick up on things. And I think my main thing was I thought of high school baseball as a college hitter. I'm thinking in the box. What do I think I'm about to get? What he beat me on that he could come back with? And I think that's a big reason why I was successful, is because I took a big mental part of the game and dumbed it down a lot, and knew what I wanted to look for in the box every time. I knew what I wanted to do on the mound, or if I was on the field. Um, and baseball IQ is a huge thing that people just don't have anymore in high school. It's all about exit velo and how hard you can throw a baseball now, and that's just not baseball. Our high school coach does a really good job of making sure we know that. He doesn't care if there's a ball hit above 80 miles an hour or a ball head out the whole year. We bunt. We know to hit it backside right over the second baseman. We do the little things right. That's why we won this year. and because we know where to go, what to do, and what to say with the ball. And I'm seeing less and less of that in high school. And I think if people start to realize that you need to do that, when I was a freshman, that's when we need. That's how you play as a freshman at Sterlington High School. You know where to go, what to do, and to say. So I would come home and hop on my game and play MLB The Show, and I would be like, and I would just play third, and I'd be like, all right, what should I do? Like, and I just play games. And I'd be like, what would I do on this? And if I had a question, I'd ask the next day at practice. And so we need more of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. In kind of the same lane, what would you tell a youngster? And you've kind of hit on it a little bit in this interview. What would you tell them how to strengthen their faith and how to be more outspoken about it, kind of like you are? What's some tips that you can give them for that?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a prime example of this from the early age, like middle school, and making that transition and getting older is, I mean, just because you're alone doesn't mean you're alone. Like just because people are straying away from you because you're making good decisions, eventually it's going to work out. Like I remember my freshman year of high school, that's when the parties and all that start to formulate, and they're like, "You want to come? You want to come?" And when you say no, eventually they'll quit asking. Eventually they'll leave you alone. I mean, I distinctly remember a time in fifth grade when, my friends at the time, they were out not doing right things in fifth grade. And I don't know how young it can be these days but, it was a big deal that I didn't do it and that I was not taking part in those things. But eventually they're like, okay, he's not going to do it. I'm going to quit bothering him about it. Eventually things do get better. They will quit asking you to take part in those things, and you'll only get invited to things that they know that you're going to do. And so it gets easier over time. I think that's the main thing that people don't understand that are young. It does get easier over time. It's just hard at the start.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that I've been kind of picking up and discipling a little bit and just trying to help him. And when it came to that part where, man, you're either all in or you're all out. There's no sitting on the fence. You can't have your hand on Jesus and then your hand on partying. And when they're coming from a spot where they're living in the world and they're trying to make that transition into where they're living for Christ, that it's a really big roadblock because they're worried about what everybody else is going to think of them. And it broke my heart, man, to hear him say that. And so, yeah, it's just there's some trust. And people like you and I, we got to be able to sell that to them and tell them, hey, look, let me tell you, it gets easier. And just like you said, just keep walking it out, watch what happens. And God's going to put some people in your life. So I'm going to go off the cusp a little bit right here. And I'm going to put you on the spot. All right. You said you grew up in a good Christian home. And, your parents did a good job of laying the foundation for you. Why don't you take this time right now and just kind of give them a little love and what they mean to you and what they've done for you and how they set you up to be the person you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. My parents were just the model. I mean, like they couldn't have done a better job. I mean, I'm forever grateful for them. I mean, I'm the most spoiled kid ever. Like they put their lives aside and they deal with me and my sister. Like that's their number one priority. My dad, I mean, he's never missed a practice. Like he's been at every football practice, baseball practice. He's not the coach. He just sits there and watches, like, because he's that invested. And I'm sure ULM he's gonna find him a little hiding spot in the stands to watch practice. I mean, he wants me to succeed more than he's ever succeeded. He wants that for me, and I never take that for granted. Um, I mean, those long hours in the cage where I don't want to listen to him and we get frustrated and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm so grateful for him. And then you got my mom. I mean, trying to put on weight for college is a very tough thing to do, but she's there to make every meal, and she's just so supportive. I mean, she's at every single game, and it's like the end of the world if they can't make a game because of like something terrible that happened. Like they could get in a car crash and still try to get to the game. Um, we had a game in Arkansas this year, and my dad almost had a heart attack. Like he had to go to the ER and get open heart surgery, and he was mad that he missed the game. And the same day that he got out the hospital, he was at the game that day. Like the same day, and they told him to take 6 weeks. They're just those type of people. They get after it, in their walks of life, Christianity, and at their jobs, they get after it. And that's the big thing I respect. And I look up to them. I look up to my dad and I look up to my mom because they're resilient, they're tough, and they get after it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Man, that's awesome. Being a father, if I heard my son say those things about me, man, that would probably shake me up a little bit. So, man, good job. Is there anything else that you want to leave with? Any lasting thoughts that you want to leave with us for the people that's going to be watching this?
Yeah, I mean, for a high school player, I mean, I know it can get overwhelming. I've came home so frustrated after practices or games, thinking the world's going to end. You just got to remember what's going to happen in a billion years from now. If there's one thing that people can hear from this, what's going to matter a long, long time from now, and that's that. Did you get people to heaven, and did you get there? I mean, that's all that matters. None of this worldly stuff matters. So when you're wondering if coach likes you and you're stressing, just chill out. It's going to be okay. Like, I coach a little league baseball team, and the main thing I address to them, like after they strike out, they start crying or something. I'm like, dude, you're going to have another at bat. You're going to live. And at the end of the day, I know it matters. We want to win, but at the end of the day, there's only one thing that matters. And so that's the main thing I want to address to everybody.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, yeah.
If you haven't given your life to Christ and God, it's time. I mean, he changed my life and he'll change yours, and God gave me this platform. He wanted me on this interview for a reason. It's to let y'all know that you can put your life in his hands anytime. If anybody needs anything, y'all let me know. Thank you.